In this video, I'd like to cover just some basic HTML elements that you'll be using quite a bit. So let's give this document a title. We'll call this Common Elements. And inside here is where we want to experiment with some different element types. So the first element that I want to show you is a heading of H1. And this essentially means the most important heading on our page. It's what the page is about. So I'm just going to match this to the title that we have. So Common Elements. We go, save that, and I've got this open with live server right now, so I'll jump on over to the browser and we'll see this is our common elements, and it's nice and big. Okay, we can also have headings that are a little bit smaller than that or less important. So if we had a subheading here, maybe our subheading might be something like heading tags. Okay, and if I save that and go back to the browser, you'll see heading tags is actually a little bit smaller than common elements. And this is because our browsers are giving us some default styling out of the box. We can change that later on when we get into styling our pages. But for now, you can see that it's smaller. I can also have other heading tags that are even smaller than that, all the way up to an H6 tag, which is pretty uncommon. So let's just put uncommon tag here. And again, if we go in the browser, you'll see that that's really small, almost hard to read at all. You won't typically use H6 tags, but you may use H3s and H4s. Okay. Another type of tag that we'll typically see is the P tag, just indicating a paragraph of content. And when you're developing in VS Code or other popular text editors, you can often type in lorem, and this is just going to give us a bunch of placeholder text. So if we don't know what our paragraph is going to be just yet, we can just type that in to get some content in there, and then hit tab, and you'll see it fill us in. If we go back to the browser, you can see this is our paragraph of content. Cool. Another type of tag that we may typically use is an image tag of some sort. So if I'm trying to insert some sort of an image in my page, I can say img followed by the tab key, and then it's asking me to fill in a couple attributes here. So one attribute is going to be the src, or what image are we looking for. So if I go to my browser, let's say that I'm looking for, I don't know, let's see, let's find the Google logo. And if I want to put this in my page, or actually this one right here, I can click on it and then right click to go to copy image address. Go back to my document here, and I'll just paste this in. Perfect. And then I also have this alt attribute, which is what is this image about. So in other words, I need to give my image some sort of a title, and I'll just put Google logo here. That'll be useful for people who have vision impairments because their browser can actually read out what the content is about. So if I save this and we go back to our browser, you'll see that this Google image has shown up. It's quite large, but I can change that as well. So if I give this another attribute, if I just set the width, I can give it a certain number of pixels that I want it to be. So let's say I just want it to be 150 pixels wide. Save that, go back, and we can see that it's now a little bit more tame. All right, another kind of tag that you'll typically use is what's called an anchor tag, and this allows us to create links to other websites. So if I go A followed by the tab key, it will ask me to insert this little href attribute, and this is where does this particular tag lead to. So if I wanted to create a link to CNN, for instance, I might do https here / www.cnn.com, and then inside these two, or the opening and the closing anchor tag, I'm just going to put CNN. So that tells us that's where the tag is going to lead to. And in my browser, I can see my link right there. If I click on it, it would actually take me there. Okay. Another type of element you will probably use is what's called an unordered list. And this is just a list of some different things where the order doesn't matter. So to create that, I'm going to create a UL tag that stands for unordered list. And then inside there, I'm going to create some individual list items. So I'll say li, this is my first item, and then li second item. And then we'll create a third one as well. So third item, save that. And if we go back to the browser, you'll see that we have this nice little bulleted list of things. Sometimes you may want to create a list in which order actually does matter. And what we'll do for that is I'm going to duplicate this down actually. And then we're going to change this UL tag to an OL tag, which stands for ordered list. So just change that to O, change this to O right here. And we'll see that here, now this is an actual numbered list. So that indicates that the ordering does matter. The final tag I'm going to show you here in this video is called a div tag. And div tags are a little bit hard to understand when you first come across them. So I'm just going to create this div here. What a div is essentially a generic container into which we can put anything else. So I can put a couple things inside here. Let's say that I wanted to have a paragraph, and we'll put some more lorem inside there. And then I also wanted to have a link underneath that going somewhere. So again, I'll create one of these anchor tags, and we'll say the href here is just going to be https www.google.com, and then we'll put Google in there. Okay, and if we go back to the browser, we'll see that we have both of those things. We've got our paragraph and our anchor tag here. It might not be clear why this is even useful. In other words, what is the point of having this div tag here? But actually later on, it'll become a little bit more clear as we start to style our page that we can use these div tags to collect other pieces of content inside of them and also place them in certain ways on the page. We can also give this container right here, this div container, a style, a particular style. So one thing to keep in mind is that these divs are just generic containers and they can hold anything that we like.